I'm Ashley Bullington, and this is the Warmup. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone! Before you sit down for seconds on the turkey, let's get you caught up on what's happening in high school football. It's the second week of playoffs, and the postseason field has been cut in half, which means even more tightly contested matchups as we're only 4 weeks away from handing out state titles. Let's take a look at some of the bigger matchups in North Texas. This Saturday, South Lake Carroll takes on DeSoto at Newsom Stadium in Mansfield. The Dragons completely dismantled Coppell last week as TJ McDaniel ran for 313 yards and 4 touchdowns and caught another score. Carroll's huge offensive line is a well-oiled machine and have been opening up big holes for the running game. DeSoto had a slugfest with Skyline last week, winning 55-53. The offense hasn't been a huge problem for the Eagles, but they're going to have to step up their D if they're going to win this one. Friday night, look for an offensive assault when Rockwall takes on Allen at Williams Stadium in Garland. Both teams are capable of putting up half 100 points, but it'll be who makes stops that will determine the winner. The Yellow Jackets will get their scores with Jacob Clark and Jackson Smith-Njigba teaming up for some big plays, but Grant Tisdale and Theo Weiss aren't too shabby as well. The key to this one is whether Rockwall's defensive line can penetrate the Eagles' huge O-line. Saturday at Pennington Field in Euless, Denton Geyer takes on Mansfield Lake Ridge, which should be an interesting one. Geyer finishes the season at 5-5, but unleashed a running attack that produced 432 yards on the ground and a win against Flower Mound. 310 of those yards came from Cadrick Cobbs. Lake Ridge will go as far as Chandler Rogers will take them. The dual threat used his arm last week against Lake Highlands by throwing 4 touchdowns. This game will come down to which Denton Geyer team shows up. If it's the one that took the field during most of the regular season, look for a Lake Ridge win. And how about this game? Hebron is taking on Richardson Pierce at Allen's Eagle Stadium Friday afternoon. No one outside of Richardson thought the Mustangs had a prayer against Cedar Hill, but Pierce caused 5 turnovers and pulled off the upset of the year with the 23-21 win. Now, can the Mustangs continue this momentum against an up-and-down Hebron Hawk team? Hebron has been having trouble on offense as of late. Superstar TREJAN Bridges is double-teamed on almost every play. Look for Pierce's Bo Brewer to make some big plays in the passing game and a Mustang win. This week on Wingstop Inside High School Sports, we'll show you how a couple of Lancaster players helped deliver Thanksgiving meals to some less fortunate individuals. Giving up their time to give back to those in need is what Thanksgiving is all about. Also on the show, it's the return of the Bobblehead segment. We're giving out our postseason awards, and this week, it's our Showstopper Bobblehead winner. It's between 2 players. Candidate number 1 is Duncanville quarterback Jaquindon Jackson. Whenever the Panthers need a big play, Jackson is the man to provide it. Whether it be on the ground or through the air, Jackson takes it upon himself to make the play. He has thrown for over 1,000 yards and 11 touchdowns, but his legs have been what set him apart. On the ground, Jackson has ran for almost 800 yards and 14 scores. It's one of the reasons Duncanville is undefeated. And guess what? He's only a junior. Candidate number 2 is a showstopper out of Hebron, wide receiver TREJAN Bridges. Coach Brian Brazel put his best athlete in a variety of positions, from defensive back to running back to quarterback to wideout, and Bridges has excelled at all of them. As a receiver, Bridges caught 46 passes for 9 touchdowns, and most of the receptions have been spectacular. As a runner, Bridges has rushed for 430 more yards and 7 scores. He is also known to get under his opponent's skin, which makes his remarkable catches even more eye-popping. High school basketball season is well underway, and we will be getting you highlights in the coming weeks. As for now, let's take a look at which teams you should be looking out for as we reveal our boys and girls top 5 teams. In boys hoops, our number 1 spot goes to Denton Geyer. The Wildcats were #1 in the state all of last year until Allen beat them in a regional final. They returned D1 stars Davian Harmon and Jalen Wilson and should be flying high this year. #2 is South Garland. The Colonels are led by playmakers Tyrese Maxey and Chris Harris and are looking for a return trip to state. Rockwell fills the #3 spot as they're led by Louisville commit Samuel Williamson and sharpshooter Alex Grandstaff. #4 is a 5A team, the Justin Northwest Texans. They are led by Avery Anderson and they're hoping for a 3rd straight trip to state. Finally, at #5 is Little Elm. The most sought-after junior in the state, RJ Hampton, leads the Lobos. He is a 2-time bobblehead winner and is hoping to collect 4 by the time his high school career ends. For the girls, Duncanville is our #1 team. Hannah Gustards leads the Pantherette squad that is looking to get back to state after a year away. 5A Mansfield Timberview is our #2 team. The Lady Wolves are coming off back-to-back runner-up finishes and are led by Destiny Jackson. DeSoto is our 3rd-ranked team. They're coached by Andrea Robinson as she hopes to get them through a tough 7-6A. #4 is defending 6A champs, Plano. The Lady Wildcats look to junior star Jordan Merritt to help get them back to San Antonio. And finally, another 9-6A team is our #5 team, the Allen Lady Eagles. They welcome Bishop Lynch transfer Nia Green to an already solid team. Now it's time to cool it down with the cool down. Richardson Pierce won their biggest game in football history with an upset over Cedar Hill, and their post-game speech was one to get rowdy about. A big deal for the Keller High School band as they had the honor of marching in the Macy's Day Parade this morning. We'll have a story on the help they got packing up next week on Inside High School Sports. Let's also add some basketball to the cool down. Out in South Garland, 2 top-tier players made their college commitments. Tyrese Maxey and Chris Harris signed their letters of intent. Maxey will be going to Powerhouse, Kentucky, and Harris will be saying Gig'em in Aggieland. Chris spoke on his decision after.
How does it feel to get this signing out of the way and officially be an Aggie?
It feels great, man. It's a relief on my shoulders, like I said before, and I'm grateful to be an Aggie. I'm glad they gave me the opportunity.
It's special for you to share this day with Tyrese.
Yes, man. That's my brother. We've been at this since 5th grade. You know, we've been talking about this going D1 for a long time, and it's happening. It's finally came true.
Week 2 of playoffs is upon us. Who will keep their season alive and whose will end this weekend? You can stay on top of your favorite teams by following our social media accounts on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And watch all of the week's action recapped on Wingstop Inside High School Sports, Saturday at 6:30 p.m. hosted by Pat Doney on NBC5. Now that you're warmed up for the weekend, go eat some more turkey and put on some football. My family is hungry and waiting for me to get home. I'm Ashley Billington, and thanks for watching The Warmup.